I'm Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this is week 3 of our boot camp in self-transformation. It's called Inward Bound Bootcamp for Self-Transformation because over the period of time, we're learning and growing more comfortable with listening for who's inside, listening for those cues from the inside, the truth of what's inside, our inner guru. And as we become more confident with listening to the inside, then we begin to move closer and closer to that ability to be inward with ourselves. So this is week 3 where the caterpillar, in essence, decides to go into metamorphosis. This is where the caterpillar begins to create his chrysalis so that she can begin this process of truly knowing what and who she is on the inside, so that she can be more of the essential the essential expression of her being, her being and his being. So that's what happens as we go into this chrysalis and we go through this process of metamorphosis, and we become more and more capable of this fullest expression of ourselves, which in this case we're using the image of a butterfly to represent that. So this week we're going to focus on this process of the inwardness, the inward journey. All along you have been practicing what's required to make this happen. You've been practicing moving forward with intention towards what you want. You've been practicing listening for and noticing those negativities and the fears that say you can't do this or you shouldn't do this, or the part of you that wants some validation or something that says, I'm going to make this successful, versus living in the uncertainty. You've been doing so much work over the last couple of weeks that has been part of this basic training process. And you'll be doing this over and over and over again throughout your life. So even though we're in week 3 and there's like, yeah, we're going to go into metamorphosis and we're going to come out the butterfly, you probably won't at the level to which you might want that to be. So again, we've talked about anticipation and expectations and attachments to our outcome, which we talked about, last week. But this week, we're just being with this process, and inevitably, you will be unfolding and you will be emerging into this desire that you really want. So just stay tuned, stay with me on this. So I've just shared with you some of those things that have gotten you this ready for this process. And in that process, then we're looking at what's going to happen when I go into this process. And if you think about it, I want you to really think about this, because this is a truth, that you don't have to worry what to do next. In a sense, what you will experience is this engagement. There will be this natural, whatever that word is, that natural engagement with something that's drawing you to something different. So in a sense, what I'm saying is what you'll notice is a natural inclination to be more in solitude, perhaps. A natural inclination to drink more water, to rest more. A natural inclination to listen to your intuition. A natural inclination to notice that the outside world, or what used to be important to you, where you used to focus all your energy, it's not so important anymore. So you'll begin to notice these things happening. It's almost like if a woman was pregnant, you may have gone through pregnancy yourself, perhaps maybe if you're a man, obviously you haven't, but if you're pregnant, you start to notice things that are happening within you that you go, oh, this is happening. This is going to happen. And there's just a knowing of that. And it's a natural unfolding that you will become aware of when you begin to move towards inwardness, and that you begin to trust this process. You begin to feel safe with this process. And part of the going inward is learning how safe you are, in a sense, coming to know yourself as safe. But initially, there's this challenge, this dilemma, because the world has always said if you follow your own path, you're going to die, or you'll be rejected, or you'll fail. Stay on the beaten path. And there are so many teachers, spiritual teachers and others, like Scott Peck, who wrote the book, The Road Less Traveled, which is, follow your own path. I think it's follow the beat of a different drummer is another quotation. So even though we have stay on the path and you'll be safe, there's the other part that draws us into, no, that's not my path. This is my path. And you will learn and grow to see yourself safe with yourself and say, okay, here's this fear stuff, but this is more important. And this is the wonderful place where you begin to see the truth of that you are your path, and being on your path and exploring who you are is more important than staying safe. It's a wonderful moment. And then it begins to grow and grow and grow. So that's part of what's happening for you in this process, is the natural unfolding. And your part, in a sense, is to practice noticing that, being aware of that, and following it. Like, oh, so there's a part of me that doesn't want to go visit my friends tonight, as I usually do every Thursday. Oh, that's interesting. Do I follow that part of me that says I don't want to go out, or do I go out? And it's just those moments where we're watching and noticing. There's no right, wrong, good, or bad. It's just the noticing, and then inevitably you will come to this place to say, no, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to stay home. This is what I need for myself. So one of the last things I want to leave you with before I talk about practices specifically is there is no time constraints here. There's no hurry. There's no rush. There's nowhere to go, really. There's just being with what is, and knowing that you have your own specific timing for all of this. So if you feel rushed or overwhelmed, you could slow down. You don't have there's no place to go. There's nothing to do. You could just say, okay, this is too much for me, and back away and slow down and just kind of normalize your life. And when you're ready, you kind of start again. And maybe this time you make a few more, make some progress, whatever that means to you. So it's really important to know you don't have to finish anything in this 4 weeks. There's nothing to complete. There's nothing. This is just a training process for you to get to know who you are on the inside and to be able to listen to yourself in a different way than you ever have before. So the practice area, again, is to really pay attention to that part of you that may be ready to do a little bit of chrysalis building, of creating that safe space within yourself to have some time and quality time with yourself in a way you may have never done before. Just notice those things. Notice when you follow them and notice when you don't. Notice what takes you out of yourself. Notice what brings you back. These noticings are what cultivates awareness, and only through awareness can you be more at choice about what you choose. So notice those things, and again, use your journal to write or express this process. You might have paints or chalks or paper where you want to do some writing or expressive arts kind of thing, expressing what it's like for you to be in this place. Expressive arts is a really wonderful field of practice where you can use your paints or chalks or pencils or pens to or even your iPhone or your computer to create as a way of expressing what it's like being you. All right, that's it for today. Thanks for staying here with me. This is big work and it's very exciting. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.